Today's video is sponsored by BetterHelp.com, and I've been with them for a long time. BetterHelp is an online platform where we found that you can effectively communicate with your therapist. Now, you begin by filling out a questionnaire, and then you'll be matched with a therapist within a couple of days. And if that match isn't ideal for you, you can certainly make an adjustment there. Now, you're going to be encouraged to journal, and also they have the availability for group therapy on a wide array of topics, and I really like that. So as the need exists, go ahead and take the necessary steps to get the help that you need. And just know that BetterHelp has a 4.5 rating on Trustpilot, so it indeed is a platform you can trust. There's a link below the video that will take you there. Hey, Team Healthy. I'm glad to be here with you with another episode of our Unbound series. This is where I field questions and comments from you, and then I respond to it. And it allows me and the rest of our audience to understand where many of you are coming from with particular illustrations, and we can speak right into that. Now, before I get into the topic of today, I do have one comment or question that I want to respond to. This person writes in and says, next Unbound topic, is Gus ever awake? What do you think, Gus? Gus actually has his eyes open. And then this person says, this dog is living his best life. We need a meet and greet ASAP. Actually, my wife and I got Gus over 10 years ago when he was 10 months old. So we've had him for a little over 11 years now, or he's a little over 11 years old. And we got him as a rescue. And I think we were either the third or fourth house that he had lived in. I think it was the fourth. And that dog is he's been so super loyal. He used to go to the office with me when I had my therapy practice. And then whenever people come over to my house, he's the first one standing at the door to bark and greet them. Being a terrier, he does like to bark. He's a terrier mutt, by the way. Many people ask about that. Yeah, Gus is awake. He and I go out on walks. We typically go out first thing in the morning while it's still dark, and we do our nice little walk. And then we do another one in the evening, and then during the day we're out in the yard, etc. So he's awake. He just kind of likes to have a place to hang out, and Dad's office is a place where he likes to go. So enough said on that. Okay, now the question we have in front of us is, how many of you have been exposed to a narcissist and you've confronted them about the need for change, and they say, okay, I'll change, and yet over time it proves to be a little more than just fool's gold? That's what we're looking at here. Sometimes a person can say, the narcissist can say, I will make adjustments, or they'll concede that, yeah, I've blown it. But the concessions they offer you are short-lived at best, which basically makes their comments a little more than phony. Here, I've got two illustrations here today. The first one says, I'm almost at the end of my 26-year marriage. Many times my husband has told me that if I'm not satisfied, there's the door. How many times have you heard something like that? He has a deep history of upsetting me and our two sons, and all my pleas for him to change are ridiculed. So I filed for divorce. Now his tune has changed. He's telling me I can't break apart our family, and he promises to be a better husband. Now he's asking me repeatedly to give him another chance. My question is, should I trust his promises? Okay, you got a 26-year history here, and then you have a very small window of time where he's kind of running a counter to some of what the history says, but not really. This one has red flags all over it, and this one, doesn't pass the smell test for me, just straight up. Now, I notice what this person is actually saying, and notice how it fits the narcissistic pattern. There's an implied you insinuation in his comments. He's telling me I can't break apart our family. If you file for divorce, if you follow through, you are breaking apart our family. Now, I'm assuming here that he's kind of overlooking 26 years of abusive, ridiculing, angry, dominating kinds of behavior on his part. No, it's you when you finally say, I've had enough, you need to adjust. That's a huge red flag. And then a second thing, he promises to be a better husband. He's asking me repeatedly to give him another chance. Okay, what I hear is high control. Here's what you owe me. Now, we have a word for that. It's called entitlement. This person has been so accustomed to being on top of the heap and the one that everybody has to filter their thoughts through. And finally, you come along and say, "I've had enough. This is not working. Please, 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 you got to give me another chance." In other words, this is not fitting my agenda. We have to get things back to my agenda. So right there, I'm just picking up that even as he's saying, "I'm going to change," he's not. There's a lack of concern for you, other than the fact that you're wanting to get out, and basically he's saying you're making things difficult by wanting to exit my wonderful self. Now, on top of that, one of the things that I'm picking up on, and this is something that I would encounter many times over in my therapy office, there's a lack of empathy here. When someone comes along and says to the narcissist, "This is not working for me. There are many elements here that are just not tenable." When that person comes along and says something like, "As I survey the circumstances in our history, I realize that I've been a very difficult person. I have issues, and I've got a lot of work that I need to do. I don't like the way my anger comes out. I probably need some therapy, and I want to commit myself to making sure that I address the issues that I know you've brought up to me many times. I've been closed-minded." And then the ultimate, of course, you're not going to hear something like that from a true blue narcissist. The ultimate sign that tells me that he's ready for some reconciliation would be for him to say, "If you need to follow through on your plans to remove yourself, I get it. I wouldn't want to live with me either. I mean, look at how I've treated you. And so I have no designs for forcing you back into the fold here. I have no right to ask you for any kind of favored treatment after all I've done. And so if you want to move on, I get it, and I'll do the best that I can because we have kids together to coordinate with you. If there's a possibility that you would want to change your mind, that would be great. But if not, I still have a whole lot of work to do." That would be more impressive. And when a person comes along and says, "Please, please, please, don't do this to me. You need to quit doing this. You're upsetting the whole apple cart," that tells me you don't get it. The need for control is still there. It's just being dressed up in a little bit of a different kind of package. Okay. Now let's take a look at a second one. This person says, "I've had it with my father. He's elderly, and I've made it a priority to assist him in all sorts of ways, whether it's taking him to appointments, dropping off food, doing handyman chores. He was never a nice person, but I feel duty bound. Recently, I lost my cool and chewed him out for his ingratitude." Well, I wish I could be a fly on the wall for that one. "He was silent for a while, then admitted he's not an easy person to get along with, and he'll try harder." Okay, good. Thank you. "At first, he seemed nicer, but literally within a week, he was back to his old crotchety self. Am I a fool for wishing for a smooth ending with him?" Well, that last one, no, you're not a fool. But right there, he showed his true colors. Basically, he illustrated that he does know right from wrong. When you chewed him out, and I don't know how strongly you came across or what you said, but apparently something that you said to that guy, to your elderly father, soaked in. It's like, if he's saying that I'm too critical or I'm too negative or I'm too ungrateful or I'm too harsh, yeah, I see that. In other words, he knows right from wrong. And short term, a week, let's say this guy's in his 80s, a week out of 80-something years is not a very long time. He's already back to his regular old self. And there are times when people can have such a strong proclivity towards their own anger and all of the accoutrements that go along with it, that when challenged to remove themselves from that anger, it's like they see anger, if I can use this analogy, as an old friend. It's who I know. It's who I'm used to. The old friend is not very good for me. That old friend has got me into a lot of trouble, but I've been around that old friend for a long time, and I'm just not going to walk away. I'm just going to go back to what I know. And as a result, there's a term that I use, you've heard me say it before, psychological laziness. It's like, don't make me have to think. When you say that I'm bad and I'm mean and I'm ugly, yeah, I get it, and I probably need to change, but I just don't want to put in the energy that would be required for that. So basically, we have two different kinds of scenarios, but both of them, in their own separate way, are acknowledging, yeah, something's gone wrong, and it involves me. One just, it's like, I don't really care to put in the work. The other one, the husband, it's like, well, you need to do your fair share of the work so that I can then come along and show you that I'm a nice kind of person. There's a lack of reflective thinking in this. There's a lack of self-awareness that's there, and there's an enormous lack of empathy for you. For a person to change, there needs to be a really strong sense that says, I want to know how I tend to blend and fit with other individuals. And when I see that there are some major deficiencies there, wow, I've got a lot of work to do. I need to ask, what is it in my deep history? What is it in the composition of my personality that makes me prone towards this? And I'm going to be committed to it for the rest of my life. I'm one of these that says, probably if you're this entrenched as these two people are, it's not just a good idea for therapy, but it's a necessary idea for therapy or support groups or some sort of effort that says I'm really making a concerted effort to educate myself and to confront myself and to examine myself with an accountability kind of thing. You know, we have courses, we have books, we have all sorts of things now at our disposal that we can go into. I'm not seeing this in either one of them. So there are times when the narcissist will make the "I promise I'll change" statement, but I'm looking at the large picture, and I'm looking specifically at their attitude of entitlement, their need for control, and especially their lack of empathy. When they say the "I'll change" thing, but you have all of these other elements involved, thanks but no thanks. Like I said, it doesn't pass the smell test. Make your decisions accordingly. Now, I do hope that videos like this can help you in terms of discerning who you are and where you're going with these difficult people in your life. And it's really sad that some individuals, and frankly a high percentage of people, just don't take the time to think, where am I going? Who am I? Well, that's what we try to do here on our Surviving Narcissism channel, and that's what we as Team Healthy are all about. So if you haven't hit that subscribe button, go ahead and do so. We'll keep more videos coming towards you. Now, I would invite you to go to my website. We have lots of resources on there. And the reason I do that is because, well, that's my profession. I've written, I've done seminars. Now I'm doing it for the consumption of the greater good out there in the public sector. I have my courses, and each one has at least 25 teaching videos. They're very extensive. It'll take you a while to walk through them, but that's the whole point. As you walk your way through each of the courses, then it can give you a lot of insight. We have them on anger, on boundaries, on healthy connections, on finding yourself despite controllers. In addition to my online courses, we also have my webinars, which are PowerPoint presentations, then along with hundreds of articles, my books, lots of resources. Okay, I know that some of you are connected with the narcissist, and you've stood up for yourself and you've said enough is enough, and then they come back with this weak kind of okay, I promise I'll do better, only to find out that it was just fool's gold. Make sure that you understand what healthy engagement starts with, which is humility and self-reflection and above all, honesty. And in the lack of that, like I say, commit to those characteristics within yourself and then move forward in your relationship with the narcissist in ways that prioritizes your own self-care. You don't need to be, the old saying, hope is not a strategy. You need more particulars than what these two people are offering.